Hey guys, hello. Welcome everyone. I'm Annie Douglas, the Chief Mom Ambassador here at Moms Meet, and we are so excited to have Stephen Kravitz join us today to teach us more about the Mazoola app. So Stephen is the head of product at Mazoola and a father of two. So he understands parenting and he understands all of us moms. And so Stephen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Annie, thank you for allowing me to join. This is a real honor. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
awesome. So before we jump in, we just wanted to share a little bit more about Moms Meet. For those of you who don't know, Moms Meet is a really great online community of moms who are passionate about raising healthy families. So just go to momsmeet.com and sign up to join and become a mom ambassador and get a chance to sample free products. So, this event is brought to you today by Mazoola. And again, we can't wait to share more about this financial super app today. But of course, we always like to have fun at these events. So, Mazoola is giving away some really great prizes today. Three lucky winners will get a $20 credit added to their Mazoola accounts. And so that's really great. And I know a lot of the moms are here are really wanting to learn more about what Mazoola is. So we want to hear from you moms that are watching who are here with us. We want to know what is your opinion on giving your kids allowance? Do you give your kids an allowance or pay, or pay them for chores? And how do you manage all that? So we want to hear that. We also want to hear any questions you might have for Mazoola. So we'll be addressing some of those later. After we hear a little bit more from Stephen. Make sure you leave some comments on this video, like and share this video for your chance to win, and we'll announce the winners on Monday. Plus, even if you don't win prizes from this event, you still have a chance to win a special offer. So you can download the app now and get $10 added to your account. And so you can go to the link that is shown on your screen here. So without further ado, let's really get started with talking with Stephen about this app. So Stephen, I can't wait for you to kind of share more details, but just from our Moms Meet standpoint, right now we have a lot of mom ambassadors who are currently trying and reviewing this product with their group. And we've seen a lot of positive feedback so far, but we know that Mazoola is a really great app. It's a brand new mobile wallet that works with your family to help you and your kids manage money. So Stephen, can you tell us a little bit more about the app?
Sure. Thanks, Annie. Mazoola is the only family-friendly mobile wallet powered by privacy. And what do we mean by privacy? Privacy means that we don't have any information on you or your family stored with us. And so everything that you do as a parent and as a child is pretty much anonymous. Whereas other applications that are in these area or on the store all take in private information and store it on their servers and then use that information either to sell it to marketers or to provide access to that information for whatever reason they want. And on Mazoola, all that information is private. We are bound by the COPPA regulations, which is the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, that provides parents with a seal and an award to tell you that their information is not being shared and is private to the outside world.
Yeah. And that is, I mean, so critical right now in today's world. I mean, as a mom of three, I have a teenager. My oldest is a teenager now, and I have a son who's 10. And yeah, I mean, it's incredibly important for us parents to feel safe about our kids being online. I'd love to hear a little more about kind of what safety measures you have in place.
Sure. Well, what's really interesting, there was an article published just yesterday about how many kids' identities have already been stolen.
Oh, oh gosh.
Over 1 million children's identities have already been stolen, according to this latest report.
Mhm.
It's not possible for someone to steal their identity from our app. It's not even possible for marketers to use the information they get from Mazoola or try to get from Mazoola to identify your children or even you as an individual. So we've taken all the extraordinary steps. We do not know the name of your child. We do not know the information about your child, and we do not store it. So it's not possible for someone to glean that information. So when a child is issued a debit card, it's virtually anonymous. And that today, marketers and merchants all over the world use that information to try to triangulate and merge that data together to find out who you are. There's actually resources out there that marketers and retailer merchants can use to find out who you are by just taking credit card data and identifying what it is you like and using that data. As you know, Facebook knows more about you than you know about yourself. And they do that by buying and trading data that's readily available from marketers and merchants. So we don't have that available. We don't make it available. We don't track kids. We don't use GPS. We don't do anything that would provide any information for anybody to get access to figuring out who you or your children are.
Yeah, no, that's so good to hear for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit more about the features of the app and what comes with it, because it's really such a diverse tool. There's so many different things that you can do with it under this kind of umbrella of helping manage the finances with your kids, but also just the educational component of it all. Like, I know it's so important for me as a mom to make sure that I'm teaching financial, what's the word? Literacy to my kids. And it's hard to find a tool that can help with that.
Yeah. Financial literacy really begins at home with the parents, but tools like Mazoola can be used to help teach your children financial literacy. So there's lots of components of financial literacy. There's budgeting, there's working and getting rewarded for that work. There's allowance. And then there are tools for providing financial literacy information to your children that we've built into the app. And we have a stock of videos that you can assign to your children, but you can also add articles and information and videos to add to the child's app that help teach financial literacy.
That's awesome.
One of the most important lessons is what's the value of compound interest and how do I save? How do I budget? So we've added tools in there for kids to essentially create 3 different accounts. They can create a spending account, they can create a savings account, and then they can create a goal account where they can actually learn to save money towards things like an Xbox or a car or anything that's of their interest. So we have a wide variety of tools, and they're kind of a menu here that parents can choose from to use.
That's great. I'd like to be able to kind of, for you to show our moms around the app, if you could maybe do that and just share all the features here.
Sure. If you don't mind, I'm going to call up the app and bring it up on the screen here.
And while you're doing that, we know the app is available on the App Store or Google Play. So it's very easy to download it on your own mobile device and then your kids' mobile devices too.
Yeah, that's true. And we support a wide variety of phones. So there shouldn't be any concern for anybody who wants to use the app to get the app on their device. So, Annie, what I'm showing you here is a home screen of a parent who logs into the app and sees their family identified on the screen here.
Yeah.
And on the app home screen, we show each of the children. And so in my family, I have 4 children, each identified with a nickname. Again, going back to the privacy concept, we don't collect your kid's name. Now, if you choose to put it in there, that is okay because you're making the choice. And one of the rules of COPPA, or the Child Online Privacy Act, is to give parents parental consent. So getting parental consent of having a parent put in a real name or a nickname is totally up to the parents, but we provide that option for the parents. So in this family, we have 4 kids. And when I want to dig into one of my children and see what's going on, I merely tap on their account. And I see that on Zebra, Zebra has a wallet value of $103 and a savings account of $73 and a goal account of $54. And we've assigned an allowance of $2.22 every Thursday of the week, every Thursday. And I can simply tap on that to change the allowance if I want, or I can just come back and go on to the next thing. On their home screen, this is a view of the child's home screen. We can tap on the pie chart to see what the kids' activities look like. And then I have a really quick view of what's going on in their financial life. So we've assigned chores for the child, and we're getting a view of the children's goals that they want to save for. One thing that I forgot to mention, part of the financial literacy, is the ability for children to make donations to their favorite charities.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah. And so we have 300,000 charities on here and 50,000 churches and several thousand synagogues. So kids can make those choices, but again, only at the approval of their parents. So the parents have to approve what charities they can give to. And I'm going to show you that in a second here. So if I go through and tap on the child's wallet, I can come in here and I can see all their activity. I can see where monies were added. I can see being paid for a chore. I can see monies being transferred between children. And kids do have the ability to add their peers if they're in the Mazoola network to send money to each other. And they can actually send money to their siblings.
Oh, wow.
And then from a parental control standpoint, parents can actually withdraw money from their kids' accounts if they so need to do that.
Yeah.
That's a quick thing. And just go in here quickly, and it's very simple. You select the account you want to transfer to and how much you want to transfer, and we do the transfer for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, I have, again, 3 kids, and, up until recently, up until I discovered Mazoola, I was doing everything using cash, and it's like one of these things where you're like, okay, how do you keep on top of that? I mean, if I could, see all this information clearly in a awesome app like this, I mean, that makes mom's job so much easier.
So much easier, and it provides you a level of understanding what's going on in the child's life.
Yeah.
The moment you give a child a $20 bill, and unless you ask them to give you the receipts, you have no idea where that $20 is going.
Yeah.
But with an app like Mazoola, you can actually track where that money is being spent.
Right.
And you can take it away if you don't like the way they're spending it. So, once you give them a $20 bill, it's hard to get it back from them. So,
I like that idea. Little consequences there.
Yes. So going on the nav bar on the bottom, as a parent, I can see all my children's activities in one place. And I can tap on the children and I can say, oh, I only want to see one of the children. So it gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the next level and we see the content for children about education. And these are really smart videos that you can assign to your children about financial literacy. Yeah. And if I want to assign one to a child, I merely tap on it and update the assignment for them to have to do that.
Nice. And we're looking at the parents' view of this.
This is the parents' view. In one second, I'll change to the child view.
Yeah.
But one thing I did want to show you is that as a parent, you have the ability to pick and choose which retailers you want to allow your children to shop at.
That's great.
And then you have the ability to set their limits of how much they can spend on a daily, weekly, and monthly time basis.
Yeah.
So you may have children like you, and you have children of different ages, and you may give them access to different things at different levels. We give you the ability to do that on an individual child level.
Right.
And then, like I said, we have the charities. So you can come in here and as a parent, approve which charities you want your kids to be able to give to, and they can give that money to those charities. Again, you can set up limits of how much each child can give and how frequently they can give.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out of a parent and I'm going to sign in as a child. And I'm going to sign in here as Zebra.
And is it easy for, if you're a parent, is it easy to invite your child? Like, how does that process work?
Yeah. So what you do is when you're setting up your family, we walk you through the setup. We call it the Parental Superpowers, where you can have access to a list of things to get started. And one of them is inviting your family. And then when you invite your family, a QR code comes up after the invite is completed, and a child can either scan the QR code or they can download the app and enter a PIN, and it automatically sends them through the setup process, which is merely just adding their username and a password.
Got it.
So when a child logs on, they see the same exact information that the parents saw in the parent view, but what we give them is actually access to the debit card that's in their name. And it's only in their name as a function, as a sub account under you as the parent. We do give them the ability for shopping online to see the card details. And we give them the ability to tap the button here for add to Apple Wallet, and it automatically adds to Apple Wallet for Apple Pay. So we make it really easy for the child to be part of the e-commerce world today.
Right. And that process of just getting started, learning how to spend money in this type of way,
Yeah.
But just to clarify, you're not sending anybody a physical debit card, right? It's just a digital.
We are not, and we are taking feedback from users to determine if there's a need for a debit card, a physical card, which we would do if we got the right feedback. We would probably start as an experiment to start offering debit cards to families.
Okay.
As a physical card. But we really want to try to engage families at the digital level as opposed to the physical level, because every time a card is in the environment, anything can happen. A child can lose it. People can steal the card numbers off of it. So really the safe way to spend money is through Apple Pay and Google Pay or pay online. But we are a very human-centric focused business, and if parents are going to ask us for cards, we're going to deliver those, because that's what we want to hear from our users of what their needs are. And we intend to add features and functionality based on what users are asking us for.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. So as a child, I can come in here and see again all the things that have happened in my account, and that I've donated money to the American Cancer Society. I can transfer money to my friends, to my family.
Wow, what a generous child here.
Yes, we love that about children. And then as a child, I can come in and see what I've done for my chores, and I didn't do my chores every day that I was supposed to, with the red X. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say I did my chores today, so that I can retrieve my reward. I'm going to say that I did my chores. And you see Annie, the yellow time glass there? That means that the parent has set that chore to approve. So the parent has to be able to go in and say that they've seen you do that, and then they actually acknowledge the chore by turning it as an approval, and the money is automatically transferred to the child.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see using this in our family for like instrument practice and music practice. Yeah. I mean, that's something that's a recurring thing.
Yeah.
And it's such a pain to have to remind the kids every day, did you do this? Did you do your piano practice? So, right. I mean, this is such a great feature here.
Yeah. And one of the beauties of this chores tool is we give you as parents the ability to put anything in as a chore. We give you the 20 most common chores, but you could do things like do your homework, do your ACT prep or SAT prep. You can do this and configure this in any way you want to suit your family.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So yeah, well, we're getting quite a few questions here from our moms. If you don't mind, if I could ask you some of those.
Sure. I'd be happy to.
Yeah. So, so how much does the app? One mom is asking, how much does the app cost after the first free year?
We're going to be $3.95 a year after that.
Great. Very affordable.
Sorry, $3.95 a month after that.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, all these great features, and that's really Very affordable. Okay, great. And what is the right age group to, or the right age where you can first introduce this app to your child?
That's a really good question. I think it's crazy. I'm going to say this because my kids are a little bit older now, but I wouldn't have thought of it then. But I think, when we can start at 7 years old, I think we're starting at a good point with the children. That's kind of the consensus that we're hearing from families.
Yeah.
And they may not give them huge amounts of money, but they may give them the app for the reward and the education pieces of it, and not so much for the spending side. But
Right.
you've seen this probably in your own family. Kids are much smarter on these devices than we ever thought they would be at a younger age.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it just really to our benefit to make sure that they start to learn at a younger age, just because they'll be exposed to it younger anyway. So
Right,
yeah.
right.
And another question is, again, going back to the, how a child spends their money
Mhm.
in physical retailers. So they would be able to have their device with them and then use Apple Pay at the retailer.
So Apple Pay has a limitation. You have to be 13 years old or older. So it does put a little bit of a crimp in the style of a child sub 13. And that may be the reason why we're getting several requests from families for actual physical cards. But Google Pay allows you to use it, and one of the ways you can actually engage with your children on this is if you're with them, you can ask them to give them your money back, and let the parents spend it. But there is a limitation set by Apple, unfortunately, with the 13-year-olds in town.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there is pending legislation in Congress. The only thing that Republicans and Democrats agree on today is the safety of children. So there's lots of new legislation that's pending about increasing these laws to make increasing it to a 16-year-old instead of a 13-year-old.
Okay.
So this is why these kinds of apps are going to be absolutely necessary for children.
Right. And so I know the Mazoola app received the 2021 National Parenting Product Award.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that and why that's such a big deal?
Yeah, so what an amazing honor for us. The NAPA Awards are the National Parenting Product Awards. And this is an organization that's been around for 30 plus years. And their only focus is on and being leaders in this area of finding the best toys and family products for families. That's all they do for a living. And they awarded us with one of their awards for technology as one of the leading products for parents and families.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible honor.
Yeah, that's great. So Stephen, is there anything else on the app while we have the screen up here that you want to show us that you feel like would really be helpful to our moms?
Well, let me just show you one or two other things that I think would be really interesting.
Okay.
Let me just sign out of the child because I think this is an area. So one of the great things is we have the biometrics turned on, so you can just show your face and be logged into the app. We really like that feature for parents and children.
Yeah. Makes it easy.
Then we put this light bulb out here where we show parents what we call the Parental Superpowers, and this is the really getting started tools. And as you are actually completing those, we're updating to let you know where you are in the process. And then we provide you a list of other optional ones that you can add as well. So we're really trying to help the parents find their way through this because this is a banking app and it has a lot more features and functionality than one would expect. We felt it was necessary to provide the parents with the tools to, get their way through this, kind of friction-free, the Uber-like experience. That's what we like to call it, where, you tap a car and you get a ride and you're done. So we want to try to make it that easy for parents. And one of the other last items is this notification center. So we do provide you tools for getting notifications of everything that's going on in your family world. And so that's a quick way. And we do have app notifications, like push notifications that you see come across your screen when you have other apps. So we do have that as well. And then we have the family area where you can come in and actually manage your family. You can add additional adults and caregivers, and you can give them roles and responsibilities so that they can do things. So today we have, a very large segment of the population with sort of non-nuclear families or different kinds of families.
Yeah.
So we need to provide tools to accommodate that. And so as you can see here, this family has three dads, two moms. So we want to give those people the ability. And then when you tap on one of the children, you can see who's a parent and who's a caregiver. So I'm just trying to find one of these that has a caregiver. So I think this one has a different caregiver.
Yeah.
This child in that family group has a different child relationship with the child as a caregiver. So,
and that is so smart. I mean, such a good thought, in having grandparents and, like you said, just different combinations of family members. That is really, really helpful. Now, can people access this dashboard on a computer or something else other than just the mobile device?
Great question. We're about to launch our web app for parents.
Oh, nice.
So, probably within the next month, we'll have that out for parents where they can actually log in through their iPad to a web page. The app does work on an iPad. It just formats a little differently. But you can call it up on your iPad and go through it as a web page and make all the same change. It's the exact same user interface, so you'll recognize it immediately.
Great. And I know you've said the words, this is a banking app, and I want to touch on that a little bit, in terms of the actual setup process when you first, download the app. Can you just kind of share what information do people have to, be prepared to share?
Another fantastic question, because I think people who are looking for this app don't realize that it's actually a banking app for the most part. And so when we are part of the banking, we are regulated under what looks like the banking community. And in this country, the federal government has made laws since 2001 that require anybody opening a bank account provide what they call know your customer or anti-money laundering information. And that all stems from the 9/11 attacks. So what happens is we have to provide that identity information, none of which is kept by us, by the way, but it includes identifying yourself as a citizen and being able to, you don't have to be a citizen, but you have to have the information of social security number, name, address, telephone number. And we provide that to the bank, and the bank responds back to us whether this user can be added to the bank. And these are not guidelines set up by us. Again, they're set up by Congress and the federal government for making sure that we know who our customer is. And so for parents, especially married women who change their name or have hyphens in their name, or their social security number is not the same as their new parent name, these can be challenging issues. So we would encourage everybody to look at their social security card and make sure it matches their name as is. And almost 95% of parents pass through this identification process, but we do have an occasional issue with hyphenated names or not matching social security numbers. So like I said, the most important thing is the information is not given to us. We don't store it. It is provided to the bank, and the bank is responsible for that data.
Yeah, and that's really good to know. And it's really just necessary for that initial setup. And after that,
never asked again.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
Well, our time here is up, but Stephen, thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And this is, again, such an important topic around financial literacy and just having, these great, like, I love the whole superpower, type of terminology. I mean, if we can have one more tool to make the job of being a parent easier, I'll take it. We'll all take it. So definitely appreciate you walking us through and showing us the visuals too of how that works. So moms, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, you've got to get this app. I mean, this is going to just really supercharge your life and how you manage chores and all of the spending with your children. So make sure you head over to the App Store or Google Play Store, use the link that you see here on the screen, download the app now, and then you'll get $10 added to your account afterwards. So it's a really great opportunity to really check it out, and it's free for a year. So it's really a great way to try something like this out. And so remember to keep sharing and liking this video. Share this video with someone who you think might be interested in learning more about something like this. And then that'll increase your chances to win too. So thanks everyone again for coming. Thanks, Stephen, for joining us today.
Thank you, Annie, and really appreciate it. It's an honor to be with you and have the opportunity to show it to your group. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.